So this is directed by Simon West. He did Tomb Raider and Con Air, when I loved Con Air. Tomb Raider, not so much. But Con Air, definitely. This is Jason Statham is a hitman who is hired by a outside group, and he's kind of, they send him an email, or he goes on Craigslist, and he goes on Craigslist, and they go, kill this guy, and he goes, okay. But he has to kill one of the leaders of the group, who happens to also be a best friend. Mm-hmm. And when doing so, Ben Foster's character is the son of that guy. So he takes him under his wing, I guess, to teach him to be an assassin, because that's what he wants, because he's got no direction, and now he has no father, and he obviously is going to get himself killed trying to do stuff. So there's this kind of secret tension that Ben Foster doesn't know Jason Statham's killed his dad, and he's raising him, and there's a lot of good tension with that going on. But this is a dirty movie. Yeah. I'm going in thinking, trained assassin movie with Jason Statham. I'm thinking Transporter, all these. Which Jason,
some of his more big.
Yeah, that's all Jason Statham does. That. I mean, Jason Statham. That's my big issue. Is Jason Statham is the same guy. He is typecasted. I doubt he can act in any different way, because every movie he's done since Transporter 1, he's been the same character. So this is all it is. So that's what I'm expecting is, Ben Foster is dirty. He's been in a couple other movies where he just plays, that angry rapist or the really intense Nazi. This guy, he does grungy movies, and works really well, because there's a lot of scenes that Ben Foster's in that I was doing this, because you're like, oh, yes, he does. Yeah, there's a lot more violence in this one. A lot of good gore. People, when they get shot, their heads explode into violent
brutality,
which very dark. Sad to say, a little bit on the predictable side. I enjoyed it because Ben Foster. I can't say ill of him. Yeah, I just can't. I'm all about Ben Foster right now. But I gave this one a C. I was still pretty disappointed in the overall aspect of the movie, but all the little bits, there were a lot of little elements that I really enjoyed. Mostly the extra violence and Ben Foster's creepy scenes with when he was doing his first jobs and stuff.
Yeah. I gave this a surprising B-. I went into this movie thinking this was going to just be Transporter 4, or it's going to be, Craig 3, and it's just going to be, Jason Statham parkouring from building to building.
Craig 3 will be the greatest movie.
Where he's just, running from building to building, going from set piece to set piece, explosion, ending. That's what I was expecting. And this movie is actually a lot more slow-paced, slow building. There's not a lot of special effects, actually maybe no CGI, and I really appreciated the hell out of that. And, it's not a movie about cars getting turned over. It's a movie about, it's really the central relationship is between Ben Foster and Arthur Bishop, played by Jason Statham. And I really like that the movie was cruxed on that. That it was somewhat character focused, even though Statham's basically just doing what Statham does, but doing it to his advantage. My problems with the movie is that I think it tries to push a little too hard. It pushes a little too hard to get that hard R. It is very gritty. It's very grungy. It almost sort of feels a little bit like Michael Mann movie circa Manhunter, 87 era Michael Mann. It even has that kind of grainy sort of film quality. But there's some places where I feel like it's not a movie that's trying to be PC, and I don't expect that from all movies. But there's some places where I felt like it was borderline offensive, where Ben Foster's first two violent acts are against two minority groups. I know.
All right.
Well, okay. So he's told that his father's killed by a carjacker. Yeah. So of course the first carjacker that he finds to kill is a black guy, and he curbs him almost half to death in that scene. And then his first kill is against a homosexual who is, a 300-pound burly guy who can really pretty much take anybody on, and holds his own pretty well against Ben Foster. And then the scene right after that is him banging some chick in a alleyway. But it pretty much doesn't go back to that at all. It's basically just to show how straight that Ben Foster really is. And I felt that it was a little offensive, a little almost like the movie. I don't know. It was a little mean-spirited, I suppose. Yeah. But I thought that I was surprised by how well made the movie was, and how it is more of a thriller than an action movie, and I did like it because of that. I guess I went in with such low expectations that it really didn't have to do much to make me happy, and I did like that it was pretty brutal and more of a visceral kind of violence rather than like Red, where it's just set pieces and explosions and people are getting killed, you don't even care, it doesn't even seem painful. This is a very painful looking beatings and killings and stuff like that. Yeah. And some of the procedural stuff between Ben Foster and Jason Statham character, who's teaching him how to do stuff. Of course, that's really cool too. Mm-hmm. And it has that nihilism that you haven't seen in a movie really since the 70s, probably because it's a remake of a Charles Bronson movie. And I kind of appreciated that it kind of ends on a down note. Yeah. So there was a lot to like about it, but there was a few places where I thought I was just being a little mean-spirited for the sake of just being mean-spirited. So that's our show today.